This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of the hosts, Tom.
And I am the other one of the hosts, Tim.
Sorry, we're laughing. Nick, our engineer for the evening, gave us an enthusiastic go sign.
It's great.
We need to come up with like a guidebook for signs, because last week we had a lot of problems. We had Marika recording us, and she was counting us down differently.
Yeah.
Our intrepid usual engineer, John's no longer with the show due to an issue he had with Tim, which we can't get into for a lot of reasons.
Mostly legal.
Mostly legal. They're all legal reasons.
Yeah.
A few moral reasons, too.
He's fled to a country with a non-extradition treaty.
No, John just got
Wait, they
it.
don't have non-extradition treaties. They just don't have an extradition treaty, right?
Yes. I don't think
They
it's
signed a
country
thing
law.
that, like, send your criminals here.
Yeah,
yes,
we
we
won't
all
send
agree
them
to
back.
this. Yeah.
No, John just got a great opportunity. If you can imagine, a better opportunity than engineering this show.
Yeah.
And he took it.
Two numbskulls stumbling in off the street at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday night.
Hard to imagine there would be a better opportunity than that, but there was.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you doing this week, Tim?
Tom, silver bells. Silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Yeah. New York City.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the holiday season.
It's in all cities.
Yeah, but mostly New York City, right?
Yeah,
the greatest city on earth.
That's where we are, baby.
I still think we should get a live audience for every episode. So when we say things like, the greatest city on earth, New York City, everybody could go nuts.
Yeah.
And that would take up some time of the podcast.
Yeah. Or we should at least mic the small audience we have here every week.
Nah.
Yeah. We'll keep them in that soundproof room so they don't interrupt the flow. I'm doing good, Tim. Thanks for asking.
Tom, let me ask you something. How are you doing this week?
Doing good, Tim. I ran into my old mailman, Marty,
Tom,
the other day. What? Did I talk about this already?
No, but you talk about your mailman so often. It troubles me for
I'm
this
sorry
reason.
I miss him, for God's sake.
It makes me think that maybe you don't have a normal amount of human contact, that like most of your anecdotes revolve around your mailman.
Mail. No, I don't have interactions with the other mail people. When my mail comes at like the crack at midnight, that's not normal mail. Like, I don't know who those people are.
Right.
But the other day I was walking through my lobby and I hear, "Hey, Tom," and it was Marty, aka Tom. That's his nickname.
Wait, what are you talking about? You're acting like there's some sort of lore around
I've talked about Marty, my mailman. Are you Googling Marty the mailman?
No.
You're not going to find him. But we were catching up. You remember, because his nickname's Tom, because he was a peeping Tom?
I vaguely remember this.
Well,
Tom.
they thought he was a peeping Tom. He wasn't
Who
really
thought
a
he
peeping
was a peeping Tom?
Everyone, all of his neighbors and everything.
And he confided in you and told you, like, "Hey, Tom, I'm going through."
Well, no.
He probably assumed that your name wasn't Tom, and that like
I was also a
you were also
peeping Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
You were an accused peeping Tom, and he's
No,
like, "This
because
guy."
one day he was just like, my nickname's Tom. And I was like, what? I've never heard somebody having the nickname Tom. That's not a nickname.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, if your name is Thomas.
Right, which mine is.
By the way, I don't like when people say that, like, Tom is a nickname for Thomas or Tim is a nickname for Timothy.
Yeah, it's a shortened version.
Yeah,
an abbreviated version.
Yeah, it's not a nickname. A nickname is like
Skippy.
gazpacho.
Right.
Because he likes cold soups.
Yeah. Well, Marty's nickname was Tom because he was a peeping Tom.
Right.
So it kind of fit.
So you ran into him.
I ran into him. You wouldn't believe where I ran into. He was delivering my mail like old times.
Wow.
I gave him a big handshake, and I was like, "Where have you been?" And he was like, "Oh, they've got me on the truck now." I thought he was on a truck before.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't know. I'm like, "Were you coming back now?" And he's like, "Nah, they've just got me helping out."
Is that a demotion?
I don't know. I think being on the truck's probably better than walking around.
Yeah, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he got caught peeping at the mail, steaming letters open. They caught me steaming letters open.
I imagine the penalty's pretty harsh for reading the mail if you're a postal employee.
I imagine it is, but that there's also like a lot of like looking the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our old post office, when we lived in Greenpoint, they got like recently like completely nailed on that kind of stuff. Where there was a guy that was taking the mail into the locker room every day. And people were like, hey, I think that guy's up to something. He keeps
sweating all over it, showering with it.
No, I think
he's showering with the mail. That's inappropriate.
Why is my mail all wet? Yeah. Why is my mail all mildewy? No, I think he was going through the mail in the locker room, and then any good mail, salacious letters or whatever, he would put in his locker.
Love letters.
Love letters, yeah.
He's an old-fashioned romantic.
He's just a romantic. He liked to read the love letters in the locker room.
No, he was like stealing like Amazon packages.
Yeah,
and stuff,
he was
right?
stealing expensive things in packages. He wasn't stealing love letters.
He'd come in on his days off. We read this in an article.
Yeah.
In the newspaper.
We went out and bought the newspaper together.
Yeah, like we do every morning.
Catch up on the news. We want to make sure we're on the same page.
Literally.
Yeah, because sometimes I'll go to turn the page and you'll say, well, I'm not done with that page. We need to stay on the same page.
Tom, can I tell you something?
Uh-huh.
It's a rare...
That's not true. You read faster than me.
Yeah, it's a rare condition this day and age to read any good news on the newspaper page.
Yeah.
It's just a thought, just a poem I wrote.
It's not a poem you wrote. But yeah, so I'm in good spirits. I got to see Marty.
Let me ask you this.
Uh-huh.
If you worked for, I was talking with somebody today who had, my grandfather was a postal worker.
Oh,
Did you know this?
I did know that.
And I was speaking today with somebody who also has a family member who was in the service, the postal service.
Uh-huh.
And we were talking about there is like a code, like not. I mean, it's the law. I guess the law is a code.
In some ways, the law is a code.
But you really have to drill it into people's heads because it must be so you must really want to open these letters and read them, right?
Yeah.
It must be so tempting.
No, I bet it's not tempting. Why are you gonna? Because you're gonna open a letter and somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, you open this. It's all ripped open."
No, you read it and you throw it in the garbage.
First off, there are very, very, very few letters being delivered nowadays. If there's a letter and you're going to rip that open, it's going to be like, oh, there's a correspondence between two people in their 90s.
Yeah, and I'd love to know what some old person's life is like.
You're not going to be able to read that handwriting.
Yeah, that's true.
And
Anyway.
I would bet my life you have no interest in what an old person's life is like.
I like to know what a normal person's life is. I'd like
you think an old person's a normal person?
Yeah, more normal than you or I.
No way, they're old.
Yeah, but I feel
that's not normal.
Old people are way more articulate in when they're dealing with the written word.
Sure. They're not using emojis and the letter U instead of YOU.
Exactly.
No.
I like to read proper grammatically correct.
But they're probably not as to the point.
Yeah, but that's fine. Sometimes you need a little purple
mystery.
prose.
Purple prose.
But all right, so you're not supposed. You're a postal employee. You're not supposed to open the mail and read it.
It's not just that you're not supposed to. You're not allowed to.
Right, exactly. But it probably happens. But
it doesn't happen.
It might happen. Tom, if you got a letter in the mail, and it seemed like you could tell it was handwritten pages that were multiple handwritten pages
Dear
that
John letter.
were folded and put. Dear John letter is left on your kitchen table when your wife leaves you. I don't know anything about that.
Not if I've got families in other cities.
That's true.
Yeah.
But how would they even know your address? That's your first mistake when starting a secret family, letting them know your regular family's address.
Right. And my regular family is just me and my dog.
Jeepers creepers. secret. We've said this a million times.
Yeah, secret families.
That seems like such a dang headache.
Yeah. We should do an episode about secret families.
No, one family's enough as far as I'm concerned. All right, so you're not allowed to open the mail.
Okay. Yeah.
But what happens if you're reading postcards?
I think that's probably fine. I think it's probably frowned upon if they catch you looking at it. But here's the thing. The address is right next to the
you gotta.
prose. So you can just be like, well, I was just trying to make out the address here.
Now, here's my other question about postcards.
Don't write anything on a postcard you don't want the postman to read. That's a life lesson.
I don't write anything in a letter that I don't want the government to read.
Well, that's because they have to look at all your mail.
G-men.
Yeah. Government men.
Yeah. Sometimes on the picture side of a postcard, there's a lewd photograph.
Yeah, I sent you a postcard that way once.
You did, right? It had like a naked lady on it.
Yeah, a topless lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. She wasn't completely nude, but yeah, she had
Much
her,
to your chagrin.
Well, I went up to the counter
the
and I was
only
like,
thing
do you have any fully nude postcards? All I see are these topless ones.
Yeah, and all you wrote was, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. I looked for a full frontal situation here." And
well, I drew what I thought the bottom would look like for you.
yeah, it was pretty accurate.
Yeah, it was. I bought a lot of postcards to try and get that right.
Yeah, it seems like you spent probably most of your vacation in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
trying to approximate this woman's lower half.
Yeah, well, I'd never seen one before, so it was tough to, I had a lot of guesswork. All right, Tim. Let's talk about the topic, man.
Let's get right into it. Enough of this mailman talk.
Yeah. We're talking this week about snakes.
Snakes, baby.
Snakes, an animal that Wikipedia defines as a wiggling animal without legs.
That's the best they could do, really?
That's like the short synopsis of snakes.
A wiggling animal without legs?
Yeah. Do you think you could come up with a better description? I mean, that's 4 words, and that sums up what a snake is.
Wiggling animal without
Well, don't
legs.
count A.
Okay.
Just wiggling animal without legs.
Yeah. I mean, but like a lot of things don't have legs.
Like what?
That might not be true.
Yeah.
But it
I
doesn't.
mean, a worm.
No, it also doesn't have arms, and a worm is a snake.
A worm? Oh, Tim, this is going to be a long episode. A worm is not a snake. First things first. Although I will get to some things that inexplicably aren't snakes.
All right, Tom.
Uh-huh.
I'll say 2 things up top.
Yeah.
Number 1, a worm is a snake. Number 2, snakes are not scary. Everybody thinks snakes are scary. I'm not afraid of a snake. I've never met.
You're such a I don't know how to describe you, like a
Great man.
no, like a real
A
jerk.
brave soul.
No, just like you pretend like you're so brave about certain animals, and I think 9 times out of 10 you're thinking of the cartoon version of the animal.
I'm always thinking of the cartoon
Yeah.
version of everything.
Like when you're like, I'm not afraid of bears. Like I think it's because you just think I never have picnic baskets, so they're gonna leave me alone.
Tom, shows what you know. I do have many picnic baskets.
But you've stolen all those.
I've stolen all those?
Yeah.
No, bears steal picnic baskets, Tom.
Oh, well, how'd you get multiple ones then?
I just buy them. I'm a collector.
So there's nothing in them.
No, I mean, when I go
Well, a
on picnics, I
bear's
fill
not-
them up. I have a big appetite, so I need to bring more than one.
Yeah. So you're not afraid of snakes?
No, I'm not afraid of snakes. I'm not afraid of bears.
Yeah.
These are things that have never caused me any harm. And if they've caused anybody else harm, maybe they should reevaluate the way they're living their lives.
I am so afraid of snakes that, like, in researching this episode, I had to stop a few times because I got the heebie-jeebies.
I don't understand why people are so like Tom. Here's a couple things I know about snakes.
Yeah.
No arms or legs.
Yeah. They wiggle.
They're confined to the ground.
No, not when they coil up and strike.
Eh, But you can get away because then they can't move when they're coiled up.
No, some of them can go up to 12 miles per hour, which is faster than you can run.
Yeah, but I could also step on a snake.
You can't. Some of them can rise up so high that they're eye level with you.
Yeah, I don't let them get that high, Tom.
What if one of them standing up that high, he's around a corner, so you didn't see him before he came around the corner?
That's why I have that mirror attached
to your shoes.
No.
You told me it was a different reason.
Tom, we're not getting into that.
No, you said come to the park with me. You're not gonna believe this invention I made.
Tom, this isn't funny. I don't have mirrors on my shoes.
Either.
I don't have mirrors on my shoes. I have a mirror attached to a long pole that is eye level with me.
You have a mirror with a cane, and then it's also got a honker on it, so you can go honk honk when you see something you like. You said.
I think this is revealing more about you than me, because only a pervert would know these things. I am just trying to avoid snakes.
All right.
I have a long pole.
Yeah.
That's eye level. 10 feet long.
10 feet.
And it has a large mirror on it.
Well, if you're not afraid of snakes, why are you walking around with this big pole looking for snakes?
It's a precaution. Yeah. That way, now that I have that, it's like, oh, if you're not afraid of street toughs, why did you learn judo? It's like, no, I know judo, so I don't have to be afraid of street toughs.
Everyone that knows judo is afraid of street toughs.
No, not anymore.
Well, not anymore, but they were.
Yeah, exactly. And I was afraid of snakes before I came up with this mirror contraption.
Or they could have discipline problems.
What do you mean?
I don't know. This guy that was in my karate class when I was a kid, he had discipline problems.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure Sensei Don
Falco
Falco set him straight.
Yeah, he did. I don't know. He beat the hell out of me a few times. He was a grown man. He was like in his 30s, and I was, 14.
Yeah, but on the mat, everybody's equal.
Not me. I was like half his weight and not nearly as strong, and not as good at karate.
Yeah, well, then you should have practiced nonviolence.
I tried to, by just letting him hit me. But he had a lot of anger problems. That's why he got into karate.
Yeah. I'd like to get into karate.
He farted once while everybody was doing sit-ups.
I know. You've said this a million times on this show, Tom.
Ah, it was very funny.
Yeah.
Not to Sensei Don Falco. He didn't think it was funny at all. He didn't like us laughing. Stop laughing, you idiots.
Sensei Don Falco is...
a great man.
Yeah. All right. Tell me about snakes and why I should be afraid of them. Here's what I know.
Yeah.
The devil...
Tim, this is like the 4th episode in a row you've brought the devil up.
Yeah, because he took the form of the most famous snake of all time.
The one from
the Garden of Eden.
Oh.
Yeah, and Aladdin. I think it's the same snake.
Yeah.
Bad guy in the Middle East. The devil took the form of a snake because a snake is smart.
Snakes are not smart.
Snakes tricked the only 2 people on Earth, Tom.
Yeah, how hard is that?
Yeah, that's true. Are you saying that?
Anything.
Are you saying Adam and Eve are dumb?
Adam and Eve had to have been the dumbest people ever born.
At the time, yeah, but they were also the smartest people ever born.
Ah, true. But like they didn't. How'd they even talk to each other?
Adam and Eve?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They talked in the language of love.
Yeah.
Carnal knowledge. And she,
all right.
She had to eat that apple.
All right. Go.
Wasn't the apple knowledge?
Yeah, it was the tree of something.
The tree of knowledge. The tree of truth? Truth
knowledge
tree.
Sounds right. Truth tree would be a better way. We should rewrite the Bible one of these days.
I've been thinking a lot about it.
That thing could use a revamp.
Yeah, just make it easier to wrap your head around.
Make it snappier is what I say.
Just make it snappy Bible.
Yeah.
Make it pop.
Get this. Old Testament, New Testament, just make it one testament.
Yeah. The Testament.
Yeah, simplify it.
Yeah.
Merge them.
All right. I have a few things that we glossed over that I'd like to return to.
About the Bible?
About the Bible, about the way you're living your life.
I think people like when we talk about the Bible and how we should change it with our knowledge, with our expertise.
The first is the fear of snakes, which is ophiophobia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
One of the most common phobias worldwide. Approximately 1/3 of all adult humans, that's me, are ophiophobic, which suggests that humans have an innate evolutionary fear of snakes. So I'm more evolved than you if you're not afraid of snakes.
No, I've evolved past that.
No,
I
you
also don't have
evolve-
wisdom teeth.
Oh, so you're dumb and you're not afraid of snakes. Sounds like you're like a step away from Cro-Magnon, man.
Tom, let me tell you something about wisdom teeth.
Uh-huh.
You have wisdom teeth,
Yeah.
and they grow, and the wisdom grows in the teeth, and they take out all your wisdom.
What?
My
What
wisdom
dentist told you this?
stays in my essence and doesn't form a
That's
tooth
not how wisdom
that is
works.
removed from me.
Well, what about this, Tim? I have all my wisdom teeth. They grew in just fine. So I got a real smart mouth on me.
You do have a smart mouth.
Yeah.
My mom always says that. That Tom Reynolds has a smart mouth.
I know. And then
That's why
she
she's always
sticks a soap in my
she's
mouth.
slapping you in your mouth.
Yeah.
You
so,
know, my mom truthfully does not like you.
I'd buy that.
She thinks you're a real Eddie Haskell type.
I am a real Eddie. I'm a bad influence on you.
Yeah. But then you're like, hello.
Oh, hello. And then I pretend I'm Mrs. Doubtfire when she's around, which has to annoy her because at this point she has to know I'm not Mrs. Doubtfire.
She knows.
She has to know it's me.
Yeah, she knows. She loves Mrs. Doubtfire. She's
Right.
seen the movie a million times.
But she doesn't like the character as I portray it because she can see right through it and
Exactly.
knows it's me.
Yeah, she's like, when Robin Williams did it, he had Harvey Firestein there
Yeah.
to put the makeup on correctly.
All I
Tom's
have
makeup
is-
is all effed up.
I go to Ricky's every Halloween, the day after Halloween, and just buy them out whenever
Yeah.
they've got. Like, I got this rouge. Where,
Rouge.
I got this rouge that needs some rouge. And it's just, my friend's mom, she thinks I'm an old Scottish woman.
Yeah, and she doesn't, but you insist on showing up at her house. I'm rarely there.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm afraid of snakes because I'm evolved. That's one thing. The other thing is, you know about this? There are snakes that aren't snakes. There are snakes that...
Everybody thought Taylor Swift was a snake.
We'll get to Taylor Swift when we
sorry.
start classifying snakes.
Sorry.
They're legless lizards.
What?
Yeah, legless lizards that aren't snakes.
Are there any legless lizards that I've ever seen?
They're like somewhat rare, but if you saw one, you would think, what a snake, huh? Look at that snake.
Okay.
Like these lizards are often distinguishable from snakes on the basis of one or more of the following characteristics: possessing eyelids, so a snake can't wink at you. Possessing external ear openings, so they don't have ears.
Okay, I know this.
Lack of
Imagine a snake with big ears. Like something's up with this. This must be some sort of legless lizard.
a snake with like fox ears would be scary.
I mean, you think all snakes are scary.
A snake with anything is scary. Even like a nice hat. Lack of broad belly scales,
Okay.
notched rather than forked tongue, and this I did not understand, a very long tail.
What the?
Well,
A snake is a tail. A
No.
tail with eyes and a mouth.
no,
That's what I would say. Wikipedia says a slithering whatever.
no, it didn't say slither.
Snake
A wiggling
is
animal
tail
without legs.
with eyes/mouth. That's four
You
words.
couldn't be more wrong. A snake has a long body and a short tail.
That's BS, man.
It's not BS. Snakes have long bodies, short tails. Legless lizards have long tails, short bodies.
Tom, stop telling me about legless lizards. We're not talking about them. That's for the legless lizards episode that we've done years ago.
Sometimes they have like little nubs where the legs were, which is gross.
Really?
I don't like animals.
You're just describing something that like nobody's ever seen. It's fine.
Zoologists have seen it.
Yeah, zoologists see a lot of things, Tom.
Well,
and most of it's made up.
It's mostly made up.
Zoologists are society's biggest liars.
Man, our society would be so much more interesting if that were true. If that were just like a field that liars went into. They were like, yeah, I saw an animal so big you wouldn't believe it. And they hired that man at the zoo.
Well, that's what cryptozoologists are.
That's true. But sometimes, well, except that idiot that sold me the iTunes documentary, which a lot of people have asked about Bigfoot. iTunes did give me my money back, and they didn't even ask any questions about why I thought the documentary was so fake.
They probably listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's on iTunes.
Yeah, they listen to every podcast before it goes up.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, say no more, sir.
Yeah.
VIP treatment. But cryptozoologists, I don't know if there are any crypto... Oh, I'm sure there are crypto snakes.
Tom, you know what would be a good, fun thing to do with your life?
What's that?
Go into a very serious field and, like, gain a whole bunch of, professional...
Accolades.
Yeah, but, like, get a bunch of degrees, become a PhD and everything, and, like, do everything the right way for, like, decades.
Yeah.
With the to become a distinguished member of
that community.
Yeah, and with the sole purpose of just, you know, at some point flipping a switch and just lying and making a whole bunch of stuff up.
I mean, I think that happens a lot.
Yeah, fun.
It is fun. I mean, it doesn't sound that fun. It sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, and then you pull the world's greatest hoax.
No, but I think a lot of times those hoaxes don't work, and then that person's just discredited.
Yeah, but you've had a good run.
Well, why would you purposely discredit it by being like, I found a new kind of snake that nobody's seen?
You describe like the most hideous monster, right? And then everybody freaks out about this monster, and you're like, it lives right outside Los Angeles, right? Like, don't even say it's like, and then they're like, well, this guy's credentials really add up. Like,
maybe
why would this guy lie about this? And then you set you send Los Angeles into a panic for a couple of days because they're like, oh shit, this monster is gonna come get us.
I don't think it ever bubbles up to like the mainstream media. I think things like this probably happen all the time, and it just never gets to the point of us learning about it. I always think that about like the ex like military guys that come out and they're like, yeah, UFOs are a real thing. I was, a captain of a Navy ship or whatever, and I was part of all this stuff.
Yeah, but they're just dancing.
What do you mean dancing?
The Navy ships. They just sweep the deck and with their dance routines.
Timmy, once again, you've gotten all your information about the Navy from musicals.
Yeah, and from the Village People.
Well, there was only one Navy guy. Oh, they were all in the Navy.
They sang a goddamn song about it, Tom.
About being in the Navy.
Yeah.
We want you. We want you as a new recruit.
Yeah, and they're dancing on the
Was that a
poop deck.
commissioned song?
I doubt it.
Yeah. Not many pop artists nowadays just like free of charge or like, we'll do a recruitment drive for you guys.
Country artists that will send a boot to your ass.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like a very specific, like, we don't want you to just join the military. Like, here's the branch, and like we're going to have the chorus be, we want you, we want you, we want you as a new recruit.
Maybe.
In the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas. And they talk about all the fun stuff you can do.
Yeah. I bet there was like...
you can fight a giant squid.
Is that what they do in the Navy?
Sometimes.
I would love if we had a branch in the military that just fought creatures out in the sea.
There might be.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't know about it. They would keep that stuff from us.
I'm against... violence.
The military. We know you hate the troops.
I'm against violence, and especially violence against like helpless creatures.
Not so helpless. You ever see some of these giant squids?
Yeah, no, I would.
I'll send you some videos tonight.
If the government came out tomorrow, it's like, we're just gonna clear out the sea. I'd be like, you know what? I'm for it.
We're gonna shock the ocean.
Yeah.
We're gonna drop a toaster
like
in.
Y'all aren't gonna be able to eat salmon anymore. But like,
well, that's the way I feel about snakes. When I was a kid, I thought the only reason snakes were around was because we hadn't gotten around to killing them all yet.
Yeah, I mean, but what are snakes doing that's harming anybody?
Hurting. What are they doing? They're biting people, man.
How?
And then sometimes they're choking the life out of people, and sometimes they're swallowing people.
Yeah, but that's all cool.
It's not cool.
All right, let's go through these. Biting,
Yeah.
cool.
No, biting's not cool, Tim. And
If you have
you've been told
venom that
multiple...
comes out of your fangs, you're not gonna bite somebody?
Tim, you've been told multiple times by multiple people that biting is not cool.
Yeah, I've lost many jobs, Tom.
Yeah. Tim bites the other workers.
But they'll just keep hiring me because I'm so damn good.
Yeah.
Just so good at what I do. I'm a corporate
People
raider.
put up with the bites.
Yeah. Like Robin Williams and Hook.
What? Robin Williams in Hook was a biter?
Was a corporate raider.
Right, all right. He was Peter Pan.
Yeah, you model yourself after Mrs. Doubtfire. I model myself after Peter Panny, the protagonist of Hook.
Why was his last name Panny?
Because it sounds like Peter Pan.
Yeah, no, but why couldn't it just be Pan? Pan. I've heard the
Because he was
last name.
trying to distance himself from his past as Peter Pan.
Well, Peter Panny just sounds like people are making fun of him, and it sounds very close to Peter Panty.
It does.
Which, like, you would think all the boys at the office would tease him about.
Yeah, but he was just so damn good at his job, Tom.
Did he go by Pete when he was grown up?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Peter, you've become a pirate. Remember that?
What were your other points about snakes being good?
Biting, cool. Squeezing the life out of somebody. Tom, it's impressive that somebody without arms or legs.
Somebody. They're not somebody.
What do you mean? A snake is somebody.
A snake's not a person.
Yeah, but it's a body.
It's a wiggling animal.
It's a tail without arms and legs.
Right. A tail with a mouth.
Tail with eyes and a mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know. Look, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna get killed by a snake, it's because you're doing something dumb. I'm not a victim blamer here, but like, come on, just don't stay out of its way. That's all I'm saying.
Sometimes you can't, which we'll get to after this. Tim, here's a fact about snakes you can identify with.
Okay.
To avoid predators, some snakes can poop whenever they want. They make themselves so dirty and smelly that predators will run away.
That's not a bad. I mean, that's how I avoided bullies.
Yeah.
Ew. I mean, it made the bullying worse, but it also, in the moment.
Do you remember this guy a few years ago that got swallowed by a snake or tried to get swallowed by a snake?
Yeah. Wait, can we go back to the pooping?
Yeah.
Because one time in third grade, a kid brought his snake into school.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was like a small snake. It was fine.
It was a small school.
Small snakes.
I didn't like when they would bring the snakes to school.
Yeah, because we were all taking turns holding it, and it peed on me.
How'd you know?
Because I got piss all over my hands.
Did it smell like regular piss?
I don't remember what it smelled like.
It was just wet.
Yeah.
You were like, snakes are slimy.
No, I was like, this snake is urinating on me.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, whoops, that snake's pissing.
And everybody was like, Tim, you're squeezing it. You're squeezing the hell out of it.
I wasn't sneaking because it was small. It was a small snake.
I don't think I've ever held a snake. I really don't like snakes.
One time I went, got a snake put around my shoulders.
Well, you're
at
a man with
park.
a death wish.
It was fine. It was at a theme park. Nothing goes wrong at a theme park, Tom.
Things go wrong at theme parks constantly.
One time my shoe fell into the snake pit at the Bronx Zoo.
Slash a snake pit?
I think this was just a regular snake pit.
Okay.
But that is a cool name for a band.
Slash a snake pit.
It's a cooler name than Guns and Roses.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, guns, tough. Roses.
Yeah, but
sensitive.
Axl Rose is pretty cool, right?
Yeah. Is that his real name?
Yeah.
That's a crazy name. What
Yeah,
a rock
many-
and roll name.
Yeah. There was a staircase that went over the snake pit at the Bronx Zoo.
Okay.
And it was one of those staircases where, like, there was this open space in between each step, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
and I was in first grade.
Mm-hmm.
My shoe was untied. Thought I was all cavalier about it because who gives a shit, right? And also, I didn't know how to tie it, so I was out of luck. So
you were trying to play it up as you didn't care, but
Yeah.
in reality, you didn't know how to tie.
Yeah, I was climbing the stairs. I was walking up the stairs, and my shoe fell off and fell in the thing, and right in the snake pit. The zookeeper had to come.
Wow, I'm surprised they would send a zookeeper in. So a man risked his life to get your shoe.
No, he had a big pole. First of all, you're not risking your life with these zoo
You're always
snakes.
risking your life. Zoo snakes are the most dangerous snakes.
Tom, do you think they just put all these snakes in this snake pit at the zoo, and they were like, all right, nobody go near these snakes.
Yeah.
Nobody, like, how do they feed them? And
throw a goat in there once in a while or something.
yeah. So anyway, the zookeeper had a thing, and he got my shoe out, and he's like, "You can tell all your friends that a snake, like that this wasn't a snake pit." And I was like, "I will." And freaking 30 years later, here I am bragging
Still
about
bragging
it. Yeah.
about it. You should have been like, "There's a snake in my shoe. One of
There's
them
a
got
snake
out."
in my boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Woody Harrelson.
God, yeah. Reading these facts about snakes, I bought a children's book with facts about snakes.
Mm-hmm.
Made me 100 times more afraid of snakes.
Okay, go on.
There are 5 recognized species of flying snakes.
Like a flying squirrel, like they just jump.
They can glide up to 330 feet through the air. That's a goddamn football field.
That's cool.
No, it's not cool, man. You think you're everything's fine. You're walking along. A snake's a football field away. You're in one end of the zone, and you're thinking, "Great, I got a touchdown." Nothing
Yeah,
can
you're
go wrong.
celebrating your touchdown.
You're celebrating. You spike the football. You're doing a fun dance. Meanwhile, on the goalposts of the opposite end, a snake is taking flight directly for you, for your jugular.
Yeah, again, just be on the lookout for snakes at all
Oh,
times.
God. Flying snakes, that's too far to fly. God made a real big mistake with snakes.
No, how dare you? Snakes are God's most elegant creatures. The devil.
Also, they're made up of keratin, which is what they make like fingernails and hair out of.
Who makes fingernails and hair out of?
God, I told you already. What a creepy thing. A fingernail snake.
All snakes are made of these?
Yeah, all snakes are made of these. What do you think? Some snakes are made out of slime?
Sugar and spice.
Sugar and spice, and snakes,
All things nice.
everything nice. Because snakes' tongues are forked, they can taste in stereo. They can smell in stereo, but taste because it's the tongue. But they smell through their tongue, which is another thing I don't like about them. But that's how the forks work. That it's like stereo sound. They can be like, "Oh, this smells more like this on this side."
Why do they have a lisp? Aren't they more
Because
like
they have
this
the-
smells?
Some of them are like that, but then some are like this.
Okay. Why is that scary that they can smell different things?
They smell through their tongue. I don't like that. Smell through your
That
nose,
seems like
you
a
idiots.
weakness to me.
No, because they can also. I don't know if they can smell through their nose. They can breathe through their nose.
So can I. See? Just
But
like
they
a
can,
snake.
They can go in the water like an alligator, and they can have their nostrils above. You can't do that unless you're on your back. A vulnerable place
You
to
can do
be.
that with a snorkel.
A place where. Speaking of snorkels, they can also take when they're swallowing like a big animal, and you wonder like, hey, that guy's gonna suffocate swallowing that big animal. Nope. They take their trachea and push it out of their mouth like a snorkel.
That I don't like.
Right?
Not because it's scary, just because it's gross.
Yeah. They've also got.
I don't like trachea talk.
Well, you're gonna hate my new podcast, Trachea Talk. They've also got like all their organs are in a line because they're so skinny.
Yeah, because they're a tail.
It's not because they're tail. Tails don't have organs.
I mean, a snake does, and a snake is a tail, so therefore tails have organs.
Right? It's weird to think that, like, when you open up a snake, there's different stuff inside.
No, Tom.
What do you mean?
All right, here's what I know about snakes, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows how they move.
No, everybody, they know how snakes
Scientists
move.
are baffled by this.
They wiggle. They're a wiggling animal.
It's undulatory locomotion,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Starting at the neck, a snake contracts its muscles, thrusting its body from side to side, creating a series of curves.
There you go.
However, they're not sure. Like, the scales might work as traction,
Yeah, they do kind of.
but then can't we just
Take all the scales off them?
down all the scales
Yeah.
and then just put them back in the wild and be like, you can't go anywhere?
I mean, you could.
Yeah, so why don't we do that if you're so scared of them?
I wish we would. I'm saying if you've already got them, chop them in half. No, then they'll make two snakes. Put them in a blender or something. Get rid of them any way you can. If you chop a snake's head off, it stays alive for hours, and it can still bite you. And not only when it bites,
How hard is it to not get bitten by a snake?
when
I've been in the woods a million times, Tom.
I've been bitten by snakes a lot.
Have
That's
you?
why I'm so afraid. No, that would be a weird thing if I was like, oh no, I have a real big fear because I've been bitten by snakes a dozen times. A snake head, though, somebody chops the tail off a snake and it's just the head, they could hide that anywhere.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's not funny. Don't get any ideas.
Put it in your popcorn next time we're at the theater.
So what you were talking about with the scales.
This is one of those episodes where you've done so much research and you've gotten yourself so worked up.
Yeah, I'm just scared about snakes.
Yeah, that they're like you're borderline incoherent, and it's so easy to knock you off your game.
The scales. If you take, oh God, I don't even want to say it because now I'm afraid like they'll hear it and they'll come.
Can snakes hear? I don't think they can hear.
They can, but they don't have ears the same way we do. Legless lizards do.
Yeah, I know.
But they've just got like
Man,
openings.
imagine a snake with human ears. Now that's scary.
That's funny, actually. I kind of like that. That's like Groucho Marx glasses, but for a snake.
And with ears instead of a nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scariest snake. The scariest snake you can imagine. What is it?
An anaconda.
No. I mean, maybe for you. You have a limited imagination. The scariest snake for me, sea snakes.
No, Tom, here's why. Just don't go in the dang sea.
No, I'm in the sea all the time,
You're
man.
not in the sea. I would wager that I'm in the sea more than you are.
I'm in the sea all the time.
When's the last time you were in the sea?
I was in the sea in October.
Oh, in Florida.
Yeah.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I was in the sea, man. I'm always in the sea. Salty. I'm a salty sea dog.
You are.
Well, there aren't any sea snakes around here that they'll tell us about anyway.
You think the government is hiding facts about sea snakes?
Yeah, they don't want to panic. But in like Australia and India and stuff, there are sea snakes. And boy, these snakes, they're no good. They're the most venomous, the sea snakes. And they're so good at swimming. But
I respect anything that's venomous.
well, I mean, I'll stay away from it, but I'm not going to respect it. It didn't earn that venom.
Yeah, it did.
No, it didn't.
Through evolution.
Whatever. You didn't earn it. It was so bad at everything else that evolution was like, I guess we'll have to make you poison.
So did you earn your debilitating fear of snakes or not?
Yeah.
Through evolution.
Through probably like my ancestors getting bit by snakes all the time and being like, enough is enough.
See, my ancestors were smart and they didn't get bitten by snakes, so I'm just like, whatever.
Well, but maybe your evolutionary line will end, Tim, when you get bitten by a snake. 'Cause
My
you're not
evolutionary
afraid.
line will end for a million reasons before me getting bitten by a snake.
But sea snakes don't have the same belly scales. So they're like useless on land.
Well, good.
So if you see a sea snake, get up on land. There's a reason why they're called sea snakes.
Because they're in the sea?
Yeah, and they're no good on land. They can't coil up and spring. They don't know how. They've never seen anyone do it before, I think. I think snakes learn that from each other.
All right, tell me. All right, that's the number one scariest snake, Tom.
Uh-huh.
Right? The sea snake?
Yeah,
Even though you have no business being anywhere near a sea snake.
I hope so.
Number two, what's the second scariest snake?
Probably the black mamba.
What is that all about?
It's just the most venomous, the most dangerous snake. You know what? And it's actually an olive green color.
Okay.
But
all snakes are green.
it's not true. But its mouth is black. That's why it's called a black mamba.
Okay.
It is inky black.
So its mouth is a different color than the rest of the snake.
Well, it's just
So that
it's
makes
got
it
a black
scary?
mouth. Like what other animals have like a dark black mouth?
A giraffe has a black tongue.
Yeah, but not a black mouth.
The tongue is in the mouth, you dolt.
Yeah, but the rest of the mouth's probably like pink mouth color.
All right.
Some snakes have over 200 teeth. Can you believe that?
I actually can't believe that. But that's not scary.
Yeah.
Number of teeth does not scare me.
It has all those teeth so that when it swallows somebody, they can't crawl back out because they'll get caught up in all the teeth.
Mm-hmm. I'm just letting you go through your facts now.
Some venomous snakes have died after biting and poisoning themselves by mistake.
Well, then what are we so afraid of? You can always outsmart a snake unless the devil is possessing you.
In 2009, a farm worker in East Africa survived an epic 3-hour battle with a 12-foot python after accidentally stepping on the large snake. It coiled,
Watch where you're stepping. That's what
it
I would
coiled
say.
around the man and carried him into a tree.
Whew. Sounds like an adventure.
The man wrapped his shirt over the snake's mouth to prevent it from swallowing him. And then he called the police on his cell phone. And they probably thought it was a crank call. When he was like, hey.
This is some sort of phony phone call,
Yeah,
sir.
the snake client brought me into a tree. I'm all right for the moment. I put my shirt around his mouth. But, that's not going to last. Sooner or later. I feel like a snake could still eat you through a shirt.
Yeah.
Because the snake's not chewing you up. It's
Why
just like,
wouldn't the snake just swallow the shirt first?
Exactly. Like, well, I'll just push you through the shirt. And I'll swallow it all. I was going to eat your shirt anyway while it was on you. So, this is no big deal.
Yeah.
To your point of snakes not being dangerous, you know how many people get killed by snakes every year?
5?
40,000 people.
Wait, what?
Yeah, 40,000.
Now I feel bad because there's a chance that
people who are
listening
listening to this have been eaten by snakes.
or have loved ones who have been eaten by snakes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I
You
guess
have a
snakes
real-
are scary.
Yeah, real cavalier attitude.
Yeah, I'm
you
sorry
and
if
your
I-
evolutionary tree.
I'm sorry if I implied that that getting killed by a snake is at all indicative of any kind of cowardice.
With unreported incidents, that number may be well over 100,000.
A year?
100,000 a year. Half are in India. A lot of
That's
real bad...
rivals heart disease.
Yeah. Well, I don't think so. But a lot of real bad snakes in India. And
How
a
many
lot
people
of people
die
in
a year?
India.
5,000?
I have no idea. I actually meant to look up how many people die a year.
6,000 people a year?
Take a guess. How many people do you think die a year? Don't look it up. Take a
No,
guess
no, no.
first.
I'm gonna take a guess. So
Okay.
there's 7 billion people on Earth.
Give or take.
I'm gonna say 1 billion.
1 billion die every year?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. That seems like too much. 1/7 of the world's population?
But there's
that
always.
would be devastating.
Here's the thing. There's always new babies being born.
Yeah, but not every 6
All right,
people
all
are
right, all
producing
right. What,
one baby a year.
500 million?
500, that still seems like a lot. I'm going
All
to say 100 million. 100 million people die a year.
Okay. Injuries kill.
No, I don't care about injuries.
I know. I'm using Bing, and I should be using Google.
How many people are injured a year? Who gives a shit?
Yeah. I guess a billion. Now that I think about it.
That'd be an insane turnover.
Every day,
Yeah.
8.78 of 1,000 people are dying. That means 155,000 people die every year?
Well, that doesn't seem like enough.
I thought it was 500 million.
150,000 people die a year? No, it's got to be more than that. So then snakes are killing 2/3 of the people every year? That's insane.
That must be right. Nick, are you looking at this? Nick Rad.
A Google man.
55.3 million people die each year. That seems more.
Yeah, I said 100 million. You said a billion. You said a billion and then 150,000, 2/3 of which are killed by snakes.
I misunderstood the question.
No, I think you understood it just fine. Anacondas, you know how they mate? It's kinky.
Sex?
It's kinky as
with
all
sex.
get out. Yeah, well, not just sex, man. They mate in a huge breeding ball. Listen to this. Listen how freaky it gets. One lady, 12 dudes. And guess how long this mating ball lasts for?
15 minutes.
A month.
That sounds like hell for the lady.
Yeah. She's probably like on the inside of that too.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What would you do if you came across like just a knotted ball of 13 snakes?
Hit it with a rake.
You're just going to make that ball angry.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to get up on those legs it has now.
Look.
It's going to... That basically turns the snake into a spider with that many...
Yeah. Do you think they move with one snake mind?
Well, yeah, but that mind's only got one thing on its mind.
Sex with that lady.
Sex with the lady snake.
Yeah. Actually, if I came across that,
Yeah.
I would do what I would do when encountering any kind of snake-related situation. Just walk away.
Yeah, that's
That's
probably
the smartest
best.
thing to do. I think
It's
too
certainly
many
the
people...
most polite thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, the snakes are in coitus.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. Hey, beat
I'll
it, pal.
I'll come back later.
Room's taken.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I'd be like this, get a room, snakes, and then they'd take off.
They'd be like, we are in a room. You barged in on us.
Imagine you went to, it's been a long day at work, Tom, down at the old mill. And then you open the door to your bedroom, and there's 16 snakes.
Not 16, it'd be 13.
What?
It's one lady and 12 males.
Yeah, but I'm thinking
Actually, it says nearly 12 males. What does that mean, 11?
probably 11. So 12 snakes in total. A dozen snakes.
Yeah, why are they so coy about nearly 12?
Yeah, but if that was in your bed,
Yeah.
would you move?
Tim, I would move if somebody even just told me they saw a
I'd burn
snake.
down my building.
Yeah. If somebody in my building had a pet snake, I
I guarantee you somebody in your building does.
Probably do. I'm
Can you
calling
think
the city.
about this, Tom?
What?
How many units are in your building?
I think probably around 80-ish.
That's what I think is like in my building too. I
Yeah.
think we live in similar sized buildings. Do you find it weird that it's your home?
Yeah.
You go to the same place every day. You spend most of your time there.
Uh-huh.
And there's parts of this building that you've never been in and never, like even hallways or like floors. Like,
No, I go in all the hallways.
like,
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
I had friends over one time and they thought I lived on a different floor.
Well, thanks for the invite.
You were there that night. You brought a bunch of mozzarella sticks. Thank you. But friends of the show, Fems and Slugs, came over and they thought I was on a different floor. And they walked around like my whole building, like looking for my apartment.
Uh-huh. Just yelling your name.
And it's like they have been in more of the building that I live in
Yeah.
than I have been in. That's a weird thought, right?
I'm always afraid, like, the other day I accidentally got off on the wrong floor. Like, you ever have that happen? You have an elevator?
Yeah, I do have an elevator.
And, like, sometimes it, like...
I don't often... full disclosure, I live on the second floor, so I usually just take the stairs. But if I'm going to the basement, I'll take the elevator down to the basement because there's no stair access to the basement.
Oh, that sounds dangerous. That sounds like a...
Well, you can go around back and the outside.
So it's just a pain.
Yeah, it's
but,
if there's a fire when I'm in the basement, I can get outside.
Right.
Which is the first thing I checked before moving in. There's a snake in the basement, or if the elevator's full of snakes, I know and I'm doing laundry, I know I can go out the back door.
Sometimes, you're taking the elevator and like somebody else hits the button and they're getting on and you're like, oh, this is my floor. And you get off and you're like, shit, this isn't my floor. You ever have that happen?
I theoretically know that could happen.
Whenever that happens to me, I'm always like nervous. I'm like, somebody's going to come out of their apartment like, hey, what are you doing on this floor? This ain't your floor, pal.
Yeah.
You're one story down. Get out of here.
But think about it from your perspective. If you came out and you saw that somebody else that you didn't recognize was in your hallway, you'd just go back into your apartment and wait till they were gone.
Yeah, or I'd hear them in the first place and not go out there.
Yeah. I've seen you. You have 2 elevators in your building. I've seen you come in, like we've walked in from the outside, and somebody goes to one elevator, and you'll just go to the other elevator.
Yeah, it's like a weird social thing. Everybody does that. Nobody takes the elevator together. And like, there was like a person one time, I think it was just like a friend coming to see somebody or whatever. And like, they took offense to the fact that like I went to the other elevator. They were like, oh, you can't take the same elevator with me? And I was like, mind your own business.
Yeah.
It's my building. Who gives a shit? Leave me alone. Like, we got 2 different stops. We got off on the same floor. It's very awkward. But it's just faster. Like, the elevators in my building aren't super fast. Like,
no, I know. You like to avoid people
at all
unless they're
costs.
your mailman.
Unless they're Marty, and then I'm very happy to see him. There is a new snake disease on the street, Tim.
What is it?
And you should keep a lookout for.
Well, is it killing off the snakes? Or is it snakes are giving it to people?
No. It's called mad snake disease. Guess what? I mean, maybe it's not funny. Maybe there's somebody like, my snake got this, and they'll be mad. But it's pretty funny. You know what it makes snakes do?
What?
Tie themselves into knots. I mean, that's a pretty funny disease.
That's about the maddest a snake can get.
Yeah. Also, other symptoms include stargazing, which is when a snake stares upwards for long periods of time.
Well, that's probably because he's tied himself into a knot. And
he's probably just looking up going, boy, I really did it this time.
I mean, why don't you just untie your snake and then you all go about your day?
I think people do untie the snake, but like...
I bet the snake is agitated and starts biting at you.
Yeah.
Because he's mad, you see.
Yeah. Maybe he's like, no, I want to tie myself into a knot.
He's mental.
You're absolutely mental, you say. I don't know. If I had a snake, which I wouldn't, and it tied itself into a knot, bring it back to the store. Be like, you gave me a bad snake. It's tying itself into knots.
Yeah. Can't get this.
I can't get this damn snake untied. But they think it's actually... they believe it's a rodent virus.
See, rodents I'm afraid of.
Hell of a way to go, getting tied into a knot. That's one of the things I fear most of dying. If I die because if I accidentally tie myself into a knot.
If you like the show, you can find more information at tcgte.com.
I don't know why you're doing all this, Tim. I'm not done talking about snakes.
You can be our friend on Facebook, if that's how that works. Facebook.com/complete guide. You can follow us on Twitter at Complete Guide. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Your Pal Tim.
You can follow me at Tom Reynolds on those social media platforms.
Yeah, if you want to support the show, one good way to do that is to support our Patreon, which they've reversed course.
Yeah.
And they're doing the right thing, so you won't be charged more than the thing on the thing. That's at tcgte.com/pledge. What else can you do? You can go do your shopping through Amazon, but through us. tcgte.com/Amazon brings you to the same Amazon you know and love. What else, Tom? Buy shirts from us. Are we selling shirts currently?
No,
we're not selling shirts currently. Listen to us on last week's episode, If I Were You, with Jake and Amir.
Yeah.
They're
It
two
was a lot of fun.
fellas on the HeadGum Network.
Mm-hmm.
They run the goddamn place.
Yeah, it's their network.
Yeah. Did I miss any things? Reddit. Yeah. Kat from Edinburgh. She's no longer from Edinburgh, but she moderates the Reddit.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people on there.
Yeah.
Contributing.
Reddit/r/TCGTE.
Yes.
Is that what it is? There's a .com in there somewhere. Read that. Post on that.
Yeah.
Tom and I pop in unless somebody says something controversial.
No, usually it's if somebody says something controversial.
Don't say controversial things.
Usually they're not controversial. They're just like the boys look like they got fat.
Yeah, and then you'll post a Gamergate meme. Is that what Reddit's about?
Yep, it's just about Gamergate memes and telling people they got fat.
Yeah.
I think that's all the stuff, Tim. You did a very good job.
Thank you. Tom, I was excited about this episode because my brother-in-law, I have a brother-in-law now.
Yeah.
Because I was married.
Yeah.
I was married earlier in a ceremony. I'm still married after the ceremony. He is afraid of snakes, and I'm sure he'll hate that.
I thought you were
going
to say he had a snake.
No, he's afraid of snakes, and I wanted to appear brave. So he'd be like, man, this new guy in our family is pretty fucking brave.
Yeah, like wow, you really. So that's why you did this whole episode. Just
yeah,
to
I'm
impress
afraid
your
of snakes.
brother-in-law?
I'm deathly afraid of snakes. I don't think he would listen past the plugs if he's listening at all.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. This podcast should just serve as impressing
in-laws. Yeah.
Well, specific individuals who probably won't even listen in the first place.
Yeah, I want to look tough in front of some people.
Yeah. Well.
This is why I'm always calling out the devil.
Who's up to try and impress God?
Yeah.
He's
like, oh, he's
God's looking down like, boy, look at this tough guy. He doesn't give a shit about the devil.
Yeah, we could use someone like him up in heaven.
We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.